Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. My name is Jordan, and this is a quick but effective full body stretch. No props are required. However, you may like to have a block placed near the top of your space and maybe one underneath the seat, which is where I will meet you. So go ahead and make your way into a comfortable, upright, seated position if that feels supportive. Maybe you're cross-legged or kneeling. And take a moment here to get settled in, embracing any wiggles that the body may be calling for, peeling the flesh away from the sit bones, noticing the points of contact we make with the surface supporting us. And allow the eyelids to close or the gaze to soften if that feels right. And notice the breath. Without changing. And we'll take a cycle of breath here together. Inhaling through the nose. Pausing at the top. And exhale, let it go. Begin to draw circles with the nose. Maybe half circles or big full moons. Moving in whichever direction feels good. Whatever width of circle feels good. Maybe pausing in any places that feel sticky or stuck. And reversing the direction when it feels right. Moving with your breath. And begin to invite the shoulders to loop one way. Maybe rolling them back and down, finding a gentle sway, incorporating more parts of the body here. And come through center. Inhale to snuggle the shoulders up towards the ears. Exhale, soften them back and down. Maybe broaden through the heart. Lift the chin, open through the throat. Inhale here. And exhale to round the spine, chin to chest. Seated cat pose. Maybe you curl the fingertips closer towards the earth. And inhale for seated cow. Glide the shoulder blades down the back body. Blossom through the collarbone. One more. Exhale for cat. And begin to circle the abdomen. Holding onto the knees if it feels good. The thighs. And stir the spine like it's a big wooden spoon here. Stirring the torso like we're stirring a big pot. Exaggerating this as much or as little as feels good. Maybe keeping the gaze soft or the eyes still closed down. Turning the awareness entirely inward. Make your way through center and reverse your circle. Even it out wherever you've landed. And we'll come back through center. You can flutter the eyes open and we'll make our way into a tabletop shape. Shoulders over the wrists, knees under the hip points. Option to tuck the toes or keep them untucked for just a different sense of engagement. Rooting down through the tops of the feet so much so that maybe we could lift off, send our sit bones to outer space. Protect the knees. Press into the fingerprints, think sticky tree frog. Nice active tabletop shape here to start. Doming slightly through the upper back body. Slight tuck of the chin. Heart draws forward. Elbow creases. Look away from the body. Deep breath in. Long breath out. And inhale, soften the abdomen towards the earth. Lift the heart and the tail for cow. Exhale to round the spine, chin towards the chest. Arch the spine. Inhale for cow. Continue moving in this way with your breath. Adding or subtracting layers that feel good from this shape and any of the shapes that come after. This is your practice. I'm here merely to suggest. Find another round or two. And tuck the toes. Sink the hips towards the heels. Curl the fingertips forward. Maybe keep them tented. Palms lifted. Fingertips rooted. Option to reach for a block to come underneath the chest or the forehead. Maybe we keep the arms nice and active. Elbows lifted. And rock the forehead side to side. Deepen the breath here. We'll root down through the palms. Slide the palms up towards the knees, towards the hip creases, and sit back on the heels with your toes tucked. Option to pause here if this feels good. You can also reach for a block to lift the knees. That's a great option. Or reach back, maybe peel the little toes out. Take a moment to find your nice tall spine. Deep breath in. Exhale out the mouth. Press into all of the toes. Inhale to reach, biceps by the ears. Exhale to cactus. Maybe turn the palms outward as you lift the heart. Inhale to reach. Exhale, open twist to the right. Left hand forward, right hand back. Inhale through center. Exhale, twist to the left. Inhale through center. And exhale to cactus. This time, option to reach for opposite wrists or elbows or interlace the hands at the tail. Press the fist down and away to lift the heart. Deep breath in here. Exhale, option to hinge forward. Maybe the forehead kisses the earth. Option to come onto the crown of the head without dumping too much excess pressure. A little bit of core engagement perhaps necessary as you take the palms towards the top of your space. Inhale to lift. Sink the hips towards the heels, keeping your bind. Option to take it the opposite way, maybe bringing the thumbs to the back of your space, the short edge of your mat, lifting the heart. Super mindful of our lumbar spine here. Big chest opening. We're not locking our elbows. Breathe into the front of the throat. Inhale, tuck the chin, come back through center. Keep your bind. We're almost done. Take your fists, bend into your elbows, and sit your fists on the left hip. So on the left side body, left elbows bent, maybe outward. And take your left ear towards your left shoulder. Deep breaths here. Beautiful work. Release. Inhale, keep your bind. And exhale, take it to the right. Taking your bound hands to the right hip, just the right side body. Right elbow bent, looking away from the body. Dip your right ear towards your right shoulder. Always an option to play with the position of the chin here. I know the feet are probably talking to us. We'll get out of our fire toes soon. Deepen the breath here. Inhale through center, press the palms away. And exhale, break free of the hands. Maybe roll out the wrists as we shift forward. Untuck the toes. Take a moment maybe to tap the tops of the feet on the mat. And soften. And from here, we're going to get a little bit funky. Shift forward, maybe a palm print or two. Press into the tops of the feet so much so that the knees hover off the earth. Find an inhale here. And on an exhale, downward dog, but keep your toes, the tops of the toes on the earth. If you'd like to go one at a time here, maybe bend generously into one or both knees, you're welcome to do so. You can also walk the fingertips towards the feet to intensify this sensation. And breathe here. If you walked the hands back towards the feet, go ahead and walk them back out for your downward dog shape. And untuck the toes. We'll find our downward dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Melt the heels towards the earth. They don't have to touch. Option to keep a nice, generous bend in the knees as we wrap the upper arm bones out, creating space in the head, the neck, the shoulders, pressing into the L of each hand as well as all of our fingerprints. Maybe the center palm lifts gently like a little suction cup. And we send the energy up through the hands, out through the backs of the legs, through the heels as they become heavy. And melt the armor of the heart space towards the earth as the abdomen elongates and presses towards the tops of the thighs. Lots going on in our downward dog today. And breathe here. As you're ready, root down through the left heel. Inhale the right leg high. Bend into the right knee. Open up that hip as much as feels good. We'll take about 3 to 5 breaths here. Option to draw circles, find movement, or find stillness in your scorpion tail, trying to touch your right heel to your right glute as your right knee tries to point towards the sky. Maybe we root down a little extra through that right hand to level out the shoulders, or you can take a moment to try to look up under your right shoulder, noticing how that may impact sensation. Super mindful of our joints here. Inhale brings you back, three-legged dog. Right toes turn down. Exhale, step the right foot towards your right thumb and bump the left foot up just a bit, finding Parsvottanasana, pyramid pose. This is a wonderful place to explore your blocks, bringing the earth up to meet your hands. We're going to be here for about 10 to 15 breaths, really getting into the lower body. Maybe you'd like to pulse through the left heel or even flex through the right foot. Tick-tocking that heel side to side, spreading the toes, and then finding stillness. Exploring a tiny, tiny bend in this right knee as we pull the right hip back to meet the left. Maybe we stay up nice and tall. Prioritize space for the breath. And on every exhale, option to explore a bend in the elbows as the upper to mid back begins to round just a bit or just hang heavy here, led by the heaviness of the crown. Maybe we look for a slight decompression in the cervical spine here. And breathe. As you're ready, inhale to lift and lengthen. Root down through the left hand or stay up on your tented fingers. Option to bring a block underneath that hand. And we'll open the right hand high for a twist. Deep breaths, 3 breaths here. Left elbow crease looks away from the body. We keep integrity in our base here. Option to gaze up with the right thumb if it feels good for the neck. Inhale here. Exhale to wind the right hand down. Reach for the upper right hand corner of your space or a block. And lift, launch the left toes, finding your half moon. A little bit of strength today. Kicking the left into the left foot like we're kicking an imaginary wall. Reaching your left hand to the sky as we stack the left hip over the right. Option to pause here. Explore Ardha Chandrasana. Or if you'd like, you can reach for the left foot for Chapasana, your sugar cane. Kicking the left foot into the left hand as the left shoulder externally rotates. Come home to your breath. Create space and softness in the presence of sensation. One more inhale here. Exhale, if you opted for the bind, release, come back to Ardha Chandrasana, your half moon. And we all find a soft bend in the right knee, left toes touch down, heel lifted, left palm roots, low lunge twist. Right hand high, inhale here, maybe roll out that right wrist. And exhale to swoop the right hand down to come forward. Inhale, reach and roll the heart open. Wild thing, right toes step to the right side. And maybe we flip the left foot and find your wild thing. Open up through the heart. Inhale here. And exhale, release. We come back the way we came, right palm roots, except this time bring your right knee towards your right wrist. Half pigeon. Slide the left leg long. Take a moment up nice and tall here. Find center. Maybe rooted through the top of that left foot. Option to crawl the fingertips back. Open through the heart. Inhale. And exhale to fold and release any amount. Maybe resting on one cheek if that feels good, or bringing a block underneath the chest or the forehead. And we have another option here. You can reach the hands forward, or we can give the shoulders a little bit of TLC and just slide the fingertips back by the hips, resting on one cheek. And breathe here. 10 cycles of breath. Begin to walk the hands in from wherever you landed, pressing into the palms to lift the torso. Inhale here. Exhale, sink the hips towards the right side and sweep your left foot around. Seated twist. Left foot stamps to the outside of our right thigh. Give your left knee a little squeeze and swim your left fingertips behind the body. Option to stay tented or plant the left palm. Find that leverage and lift the heart a little higher. Maybe gaze over the left shoulder. Use an inhale to come back through center. Finding Gomukhasana. The knees don't have to stack. Find your version of this shape, right? We're not fighting our anatomy today. There's no goalpost here. We're just stacking the left knee over the right leg. And if you like, you can take something soft like a blanket or a stuffed animal, a pillow, and place it between the knees here. That's a great option. We're going to be here again for about 10 breaths. So you can sit up nice and tall here, maybe even scooch the edge of a blanket underneath the seat, or crawl the fingertips forward, maybe even taking a block to rest the forearms or the forehead. We're letting the head hang heavy. Take what you need and embrace a little bit of softness here. If you folded forward, begin to walk the fingertips in slowly, lifting the head back over the heart. Flex through the feet and shift forward. Plant the palms, hug the left knee in towards the chest, and take it back. And take the right toes back and send the hips up high. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Take a moment to pedal it out, maybe lift the heels. Bend one knee to look one way and one to look the other. Embracing the differences between the two sides of the body in this moment. Maybe they're profound, maybe not so much, or somewhere in between. And when you're ready, root down through the right heel and kick the left leg high. Bend the left knee, open up the hip. Again, we can draw circles here or find stillness. Option to root down through the left hand. Level out the shoulders as you try to touch your left heel to your left glute, imagining they could meet. Or if you'd like, maybe you begin to peek up under your left shoulder, using your left toes as kind of a counterweight here. Inhale brings you back through center, three-legged dog. Exhale, step the left foot through. Bump the right foot up. Parsvottanasana, pyramid pose, second side. Take a moment to pulse back and forth. Maybe we reach for a block. And pull the left hip back to meet the right. Maybe even hooking the left thumb here. Finding a little self-adjustment as we explore a tiny bend in this left knee. Maybe staying up nice and tall, reaching for our blocks. Give yourself the gift of space here. And maybe with every exhale, the crown begins to become a little bit heavier towards the earth. And we let the body drape over the front of the left leg. Option as well to walk the fingertips towards the right toes. And breathe here. As you're ready, begin to lift and lengthen. Inhale and exhale to plant the right palm, maybe on the earth or your block, and peel the heart open, left hand towards the sky for your revolved pyramid. Inhale here and exhale here. 2 more cycles of breath. Begin to wind the left hand down as you bend into the left knee and lift the right toes off the earth. Crawl the left hand towards the upper left-hand corner of your space and find Ardha Chandrasana. Right toes lift off any amount here. Finding foundation versus height. Rooting down through the circumference of your left foot. Kicking an imaginary wall with the right. Spreading the toes. Lots of energy in the bottom of that foot. Option for Chapasana, your sugar cane. Reaching for the right toes. Using that resistance of hand to foot to cultivate balance. Right shoulder externally rotates. As you're ready, we mindfully release. No slingshots today. Come back to half moon. And find a soft bend in the left knee. Right toes touch down, right heel lifted. Low lunge twist, left hand high. Inhale here. And exhale, wild thing. Left hand swoops forward. Use this momentum to take the left toes up and over. And spin on the right heel, lifting the hips, opening through the whole front line of the body. Inhale here. And exhale, we come back the way we came. Left knee to chest. Left knee towards your left wrist, half pigeon. Find center. Take a moment to wiggle it out. Maybe root down to the top of the right foot. Maybe walk the fingertips back. Fly your pigeon just for a moment before folding forward any amount. Same options as the first side. Maybe we come to forearms on a block. Rest the forehead on the hands. Or you can walk the fingertips back, resting on one ear or cheek, allowing the shoulders to have a little rest here. Wherever you've landed, invite softness. Notice the space between the whole top row and the whole bottom row of teeth. Allow the tongue to rest softly at the bottom of the mouth. 10 cycles of breath here. Begin to walk the palms in from wherever they've landed, lifting the torso. Shift the hips to the left and sweep your right foot around for your seated twist, second side. Stamp the right foot on the outside of the left thigh. Give your right knee a squeeze and swim your right fingertips behind the body, not cranking or forcing the spine. Inhaling to invite length, lifting the heart, and exhaling to allow the rib cage to circle the axis of the spine. Inhale brings you back through center and find your Gomukhasana shape on the second side. Maybe keeping the heels a little bit closer in. Another option I didn't mention on the first side is that we can always keep this right foot planted on the ground and find this Gomukhasana variation, yeah? You don't have to force the knees to stack or anything like that. Find center. Bring in anything to bring the earth up to meet the body. And if you'd like, you can stay seated up nice and tall, embracing this moment. Noticing the points of contact you're making with the surface supporting you, rooted, safe here. Or you can begin to lead with the heart, hinge and fold forward any amount if that feels supportive, allowing the body to drape like a heavy blanket over the knees. Begin to press into the palms, gently lifting the head. And plant the palms behind the body. We're going to come out a little bit different. Flex into the feet, shift back, and unravel the knot of your knees. Take the feet about mat's width, or just a little bit wider than the hips. And just gently knock the knees from side to side. Bending your windshield wiper here. Slowing it down. And when you're ready, kick the legs out long. Make sure you have a block nearby if you like to have a block for your bridge shape. And we'll make our way to the back body, rolling down bone by bone. Stretch out nice and long when you arrive. Big breath in. And big breath out here. One more inhale option to bring the chin towards the chest. Interlace the fingers, flip the palms away from the body. And exhale, release, hug the knees in towards the chest. Give yourself a little squeeze, maybe rock side to side, hip to hip, if it feels good. And allow both feet to meet the earth, about hips width. Snuggle the shoulder blades beneath the back body. Maybe lift the tail and release the low back to the earth. Plant the palms to frame the hips. And on an inhale, press into the feet to curl the hips, curl the tail towards the sky. Lifting the hips any amount. Pausing here for the exhale. One more inhale here. Lengthen the crown towards the back short edge of your mat. And exhale, release. We'll find another round option to join me for supported bridge. Inhale to lift the hips as if you could lengthen the tail towards the backs of the knees, charging the heels up towards the upper back body. Imagining you could tear the mat apart with the triceps. Maybe we walk the forearms and the elbows a little closer together, lifting the heart here, clasping the hands without unevenly distributing any tension to the upper body or the lumbar spine. Still lengthening the crown towards the top, towards the back short edge of your mat. Inhale here. Exhale, if you opted for the bind, release, reach for your block and bring it maybe on its lower height underneath the sacrum. And this is a wonderful place to pause and explore. Find softness and support. Or you can find pontoon, stretching the arms out overhead and the legs towards the top of your space. Finding 10 full cycles of breath in whichever variation you've chosen to support yourself today. If you had the arms and legs long, release the hands first to frame the hips, planting the palms. Draw one knee in and then the other, and pause for a moment here with the knees bent. And with the feet hips width, gently lift the hips just enough to remove your prop. Take it off to one side. Slowly release the hips back down and give the knees a little hug in towards the chest. And from here, you're welcome to find happy baby. If happy baby is in your practice, taking the knees wide, reaching for the backs of the thighs or the feet. Or you can hang here with me in your seed shape. Knees in towards the chest. You can also, some extra decompression in the low back, reach for the knees and just let the knees fall forward over the hips, or just that general direction. Allow the abdomen to become soft, maybe closing the eyes here. We'll all allow the feet to meet the mat and allow the knees to drape open. Supta Baddha Konasana, your reclined bound angle option here to take a block at an angle underneath one or both knees, just for a little bit of extra support. Taking the heels in as much as feels supportive. We want this to be more of a restorative shape. Although if it's not comfortable, if we're experiencing a lot of tightness and tension, that's okay. Just draw the knees in. Maybe find constructive rest, a little bit of an internal hip rotation, taking the feet wide, knees together. Maybe that's what our body is calling for in this moment. And take about 5 to 8 breaths. If you're in your constructive rest, you're welcome to pause there. If that's a supportive comfort shape for Shavasana. You also have an option to hang out in Supta Baddha Konasana, your reclined bound angle, if that feels restful. If there is a lack of effort required to hold yourself in that shape, feel free to pause there. Sometimes that can feel really good. But if it doesn't, maybe you take the knees in, find constructive rest. Or you also have your option to kick the legs long. Maybe taking one heel to each corner. Snuggling the shoulder blades beneath the back body. Allowing the heart space to be fully supported here. And the knuckles, heavy, eyes of the palms towards the sky. Lift the back of the head, tuck the chin, release it back down, allowing the back of the neck to lengthen. And embrace softness here in Shavasana. Begin to deepen the breath. Open and scrunch the toes. Brush fingertip to fingertip. Begin to roll the ankles and the wrists. And on your inhale, stretch out nice and long, reaching fingers and toes in opposite directions. Point and flex. Maybe spread the fingers wide. On an exhale, hug the knees in towards the chest. Give yourself a squeeze. And make your way to one side. Head pillowed by the bicep. And you're welcome to pause here in your fetal shape for as long as feels good. Embracing this moment of new beginnings. Coming back to wakefulness with care. Keeping in mind how we do this, how we bring ourselves back from rest, extends a gentle invitation to the nutrients of this practice to be integrated into the rest of our day. In the next chapter of our practice off the mat. In your own time, you can gently press your way up to a seat. I will meet you there with the gaze soft or the eyes still closed down. And join the thumbs together at the heart, Anjali Mudra, if it feels right. The tall spine, soft face, or wherever you are, however you are. I invite you to take a cycle of breath here together to honor the effort it took to make it to this moment and the decision you made to fill your cup in this way. Deep breath in through the nose. Exhale, let it go. You can release the palms. Gently blinking, the eyes open. And move on into your next cycle of breath. Thank you for sharing your time, your energy, and your practice with me, and making the decision to bring a little bit more presence to your world and in turn the world of those around you. And for that, I am deeply grateful. Be well. Namaste.